When I made my PlayStation game tier list, I got a lot of backlash for putting God of War 2018 below so many other games. Well, guess what, bitches? It's a free country and I'm standing on business for this.
You like jelly beans?
So here's the take for the day. I think God of War 2018's gameplay holds it back from being one of the greatest modern games. Before some of the undesirable cucks go into the comments to shout slurs at me, I'd like to clarify that I absolutely love God of War 2018. It is truly a thing of beauty. I am here to just give some criticism of the gameplay itself. The story, characters, world, and visuals, all chef's kiss. Mwah. It's just the fucking gameplay. It's just the fucking gameplay. Now, you might love the gameplay, and that's okay, but I just want to lay down my perspective of the game, which you may or may not disagree with. Now, if you do disagree with me, I'm not saying you're wrong. All I'm saying is that you should keep yourself safe. That was a joke. I'm sorry. My main gripe with God of War 4 is the combat. You'd think for a AAA action game, the action would have been the main focus. That's very much not the case because these recent editions of God of War have leaned more into the cinematic aspect rather than the hacking and slashing high-octane action of the previous games. That was a bar. And I do love it when games start taking the cinematic approach. I like feeling actual emotions during narratives, but sacrificing the fun of the gameplay itself, yeah, me no likey. Me hatey even. It just really sucks that the combat puts me off from replaying God of War 4 because I love this game. But it is such a fucking chore to spam the same attacks on the same enemies and feel weak as shit doing so. Much unlike a god should feel. Like, dude, I'm playing as Kratos, one of the coolest characters in gaming, and yet a few hits from this fucker and I go down. Me, no likey. Now, I'm not just here to critique. As an inexperienced game developer, I'm here to provide a solution. Hey, you don't have to thank me, Santa Monica. I'm doing this for the people. I've got a few notes here on how God of War's combat could have been improved. There should have been a dedicated grab button so you could just put your hands around this fucker's neck and then you can proceed to punch him or throw him. This would have made Kratos feel like a big primal powerhouse that he is supposed to be, and could have opened up a door to a bunch of new moves when in a grab state. And I mentioned that you should be able to throw enemies around as Kratos. Well, while we're on that subject, Kratos is very clearly demonstrated to be a very fucking strong beast of a person. Look, just look at this shit. So why can't we be doing these sorts of overpowered moves during real-time combat? My idea is to add in a little bit of enemy ragdoll physics, nothing too crazy, just something subtle, and then allow Kratos to be flinging the smaller enemies around. You shouldn't be able to do that to the big boys, but these fuckers? I mean, they're so tedious to fight, especially with how frequently we encounter these small minion types throughout the game. I think we should be allowed to bully them. I do, however, like how you can juggle enemies in this game. While it isn't enough to convey how strong Kratos is, it's very satisfying. I have no idea where I got this quote from. I wrote it down in my notes without sourcing it, but someone summarized the God of War combat perfectly with, "The game's combat is carried by excellent animation work and impactful special effects. However, the simplicity of the combat eventually gives way to monotony." The enemy variety is something else I don't like about God of War 2018, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard this opinion many times before. This was something the developers themselves addressed and supposedly fixed in Ragnarok, which I haven't played so I can't confirm nor deny. Scrolling through the list of enemies in God of War 2018, you are just presented with a pitiful sight. Just how the PS5 and Xbox Series have no games, God of War has no enemies. And you might be thinking, oh well, there's still a decent amount of enemies in here, but you don't see most of these for your entire playthrough. It just gross Draugr and dumb trolls for 90% of the game. It's boring. I'd be much more forgiving of the lack of enemies in this game if the combat was actually interesting, just saying. It all links back to that stupid fucking combat. I do have one more issue with this game, but it's very subjective and it's not the developer's fault at all. I feel like God of War 4 is very puzzle heavy at times, and the puzzles aren't necessarily fun to solve. They're just kind of inconveniences in the way. I don't know, I've not heard much complaints about that before, so I'm guessing it's not a big deal to others. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. See ya.